What's up, warriors? How you guys doing? Today I wanted to talk to you guys about, truck drivers, all these truck drivers that are fucking struggling with weight loss, back problems, knee problems. For you guys that don't know, like I said, in my previous videos or, where I got to go and do a podcast, I share my story and I drove for 19 years, 19 years over the road. I did pretty much the whole fucking nine, went out of state, went over the road to multiple, states, so I know how it's like, drove in different, kinds of type of weather, snow, rain, wind, you name it, man. And for you guys that have been in the game for a long time, you guys know what I'm talking about. At the beginning, it's difficult, like I said, I got my license at 19 years old. I couldn't go out of state till I was 21. That was the rules. But, I was doing some fucking local work with just driving for container haulers, owner operators, which those were the only ones that gave me a chance. And but it wasn't nothing stable. It was always on call. And, we just did what we can, to get that experience, So as soon as I was able to fucking hit that road and go out of state, it was on and cracking because for as you guys know, that's where the money's at. Unless you land on a local job here, which pays, back then it was paying pretty good. If you were getting 21, 22 bucks an hour, you were winning, man. That was good money back then in the late 90s. So for you guys that been around that long or drove that for that long, you guys know what I'm talking about. I used to bring some healthy checks, so that's like I said, truck driving did a lot for me. It helped me establish myself. It kept me in check. As you truck drivers know, we get drug tested randomly, so you couldn't get away with shit. You have to be on point. You had to be on point. You just didn't know when you get that slip or that phone call about having to go take a piss test, so that shit kept me in my toes and shit. And I'm glad it did, because I was making good money. I was fucking getting the things that I wanted because back then I was single still, and yeah, it was good money. Lucky I was able to stack up and save. I always save money, and the thing about it is that throughout all those years, it's a lot of wear and tear on the body, for a lot of you guys. And I talk to a lot of you guys throughout the week that are struggling with the same fucking issues that I had, that I still fucking deal with it to this day, because, it's just a lot of wear and tear. We beat our bodies up and torture our bodies. And the way that we do that, as you guys know, it's not really physically, At the beginning, when I used to see my homeboy that told me about, that helped me get my license and told me about hopping on that industry of truck driving where you make good money, I used to tell him, fuck, what are you tired of? Like, you don't do no physical labor, you just fucking drive, But he's like, nah, man, this is a whole different, type of tiredness. It's mental, it's just more drained. You're drained, more. You're sitting for a long time. You're just watching, the road in front of you, just miles and miles and miles. So it's a lot of fucking, it's a lot of mental drainage, So after I was a few years in, I knew what he was talking about, But at the beginning, I couldn't understand it, I was like, I'm used to doing physical work, construction worker. I was a welder. I was moving furniture, before I even started truck driving. So that was physical labor. So I was tired physically, till I started driving. Yeah, it was pretty cake at the beginning, but once you get, your feet wet and once you start hitting out the, out of state where you just got to drive constantly. And, at the beginning, like I said, for a few years, maybe, I would say I went a decade, strong, just hustling and fucking grinding and shit and fuck, man, taking my body to the fucking ground because I wouldn't stop. So that's one of our main mistakes that we do as truck drivers. We don't fucking stop. We just want to get home. I used to try to fucking flip it around try to fucking just, hit Arizona when I used to have an Arizona fucking stop in Tucson and try to hit back, try to fucking fuck around with my logbook, but I didn't want to stay out there, I wanted to come back and chill and be home, so, I wasn't like these old timers that used to stop at the truck stops, get their cup of coffee, check their tires, walk around, stretch. That's what I was missing. That's where I went wrong because, sitting for a long period of time and forcing yourself, knowing that you're tired, but you're still like just beating yourself up, knowing that your back's hurting and you're still like, fucking, I got 1 more hour to go, 2 more hours to go. And you just force it and push yourself to, to drive. And sometimes that's not fucking including when you're, half asleep or you get into that fucking, tiredness where you start dozing off as you're driving. I used to stick my head out the window, fucking throw water at my face, drink fucking coffee, fucking energy drinks. Once you're tired, fuck, man, you're just fighting yourself. And a lot of people, they just set themselves up for, tragedy, accidents. They lost it. They fell asleep on the, on the wheel, and boom, there went their career, And I was lucky and fortunate enough that, that didn't happen to me. But I went through that, I've been through all that. And I know you truck drivers out there are still doing it and are still going through that, fighting your sleep, Like they say, it's harder to tell a sober person to, take a rest or take a little nap than fucking trying to convince a drunk driver to fucking get off the fucking, the steering wheel, you ain't driving, you're fucked up, We're stubborn, we think that we're gonna be able to pull it off. We think that, nothing's gonna happen. And a lot of people, they just didn't make it, it's just, they caused accidents, because we weren't, we weren't taught or we weren't, laced up in a manner where like, hey, you know what, fuck, man, that's, a lot of times you gotta just, the whole main key here is just, your last destination. We don't think about that. What's your last destination? Is home, getting to the house safe, for your family that's waiting for you, and I put myself in a lot of fucking situations where like, fuck, man, I'm glad that I didn't lose it, that I fall asleep. And but other than that, like I said, I tried everything, and you guys out there that are hitting me up about back problems, knee problems, a lot of it, we're overweight. You guys know that, and you guys gotta be honest with yourself. I know because I was going that route. I was going there already. I was feeling like that. My knees were shot out. Because I did about 5 years running down ramps. I used to deliver for food service. And I used to use the dolly. Used to go down the ramps, and it was a lot of wear and tear on my knees. Plus, I used to eat like shit because they used to feed me in every stop. Once you get to know people and if you're likable, people start, connecting, then they start hooking you up everywhere you damn go, so you're trying to like not to eat like that, but sometimes you're like, fuck it, man, I'm just gonna fucking eat it, it's like nothing structured. You don't know any better. I mean, you do, but you just, you're hungry, so you eat it, pleasure chasing, you sight with comfort. So I did that for a while, but then I used to go back and check myself like, oh no, man, I'm getting out of fucking too heavy, let me fucking, I gotta cut down, so I used to try to do what I can, what I thought, and it was pretty simple. Just cut the fucking fast food, the junk food, and that'll put you back on check. But for a lot of people, they just kept on fucking digging themselves deeper in a fucking hole, and before you know it, they were like 80, 90 pounds overweight, that started when I started, and I seen them, I'm like, fuck, this guy just got out of control. But you've seen over the years how slowly you don't notice it till you reach a certain point where you start comparing pictures from where you first started to where you're at now. Plus you start feeling like shit and looking like shit. But so my advice for you guys, I know that I could just keep going on and on and on about this topic because I got a lot of years in, I know all the excuses we use. I know all the situations that we face, all the challenges that we face out there, with food, eating, trying to, select the right foods, the right, meals to take with you, that you could be able to fucking still, hit your goals on what you're trying to do, lose that weight. But it's possible. Absolutely, it's possible. Like right here on my program, I got a lot of truck drivers, and they start learning a lot of what foods could they take, what could they get at the truck stops. It's just, I've been there, I done it, I done all the research with it and what we could do and what we can. And the key here is that we ain't got no excuses. We're gonna make it happen, we're gonna make it work, but we have to put in our effort, our effort on actually, going after it, because that you're digging yourself deeper in a fucking hole that later on it's going to be even harder for you to get out of. And not only that, health problems are going to come about, and being a truck driver is you got to be on point, because they ain't fucking around with that no more. They're checking constantly with your health issues, making sure that you don't have any problems, because you're risking everybody else's life. You're out there in the streets, and you're putting, you're driving a big ass fucking rig. So a lot of people are, a lot of people that are, gotta understand that your life's in the line, and others people's lives it's in the line. So you got to take care of your health, which is going to keep you on point, and it's going to keep you more alert out there. So like I said, I have a lot of fucking tips that I could help you guys with. This is going to be the first video, then we just keep going on and on. But yeah, you know what, stay on it. Don't think that it's not possible. Don't think that, I'm just miserable here driving, feeling like shit, and looking like shit. Nah, man, we could get you out of that rut. We could better yourself. Let's fucking run it, Warriors. Let's go.